Contra is just one of those games that I think anyone who grew up at that time and played it, they have those memories. It was unique. It is memorable. There really aren't a lot of games on the NES like it. And it was fantastic, and I think that's why so many of us retro gamers just adore it.
When it comes to video games, most people can't agree on what's right and what's wrong and what's supposed to be number one and what's not. But if there's one thing we can't debate on, it's our own personal gaming memories.
Contra is one of those franchises that just lives through the test of time. No matter how long ago it was first around, it will always have a fond memory in the hearts of many gamers, casual and hardcore, worldwide.
So Contra is one of those games I feel like everybody's played, every gamer, every hardcore gamer I guess, or even casual gamers, but I feel like that was the first game that felt like bad to the bone when you were a kid. It was one of those games that when you picked it up and you played it, it was kind of like, holy crap, this is action-packed, this is a hardcore feel. You know, we didn't really have many games like that at the time that the game came out. Konami did a great job, and speaking of that, the Konami code, that's, yeah, it was for other things like Gradius and other games, but that was kind of what most of us learned it from.
When I think of Contra, I think, starting back with the NES, I think of non-stop action. Whether it's the bullets you're constantly jumping to try to dodge, or the fact that you're firing all kinds of crazy bullets with the machine gun or the spread shot, it's non-stop action. And the action isn't just confined to the weaponry, it's the level design. Enemies constantly bombarding you, coming from every angle and respawning, or, you know, the even levels when you're sort of charging into the bases and trying to blow up the walls and security systems. It's constant action.
Contra.
Wait, go ahead. Almost burping.
Yes.
The first time that I ever saw Contra was at the laundromat that we used to go to when I was a kid. I remember I saw the arcade machine there, and I just looked at the game and I saw a couple of muscular dudes, shirtless at that, which that attracted my attention. But yeah, they were shooting on the screen every single thing in sight, blasting the crap out of soldiers and machines and then aliens. I was all like, wow.
And who can talk about Contra without talking about multiplayer in this game? I mean, even on the cover you have two little guys, a little Arnold Schwarzenegger clone and the Sylvester Stallone type clone.
Contra, the only thing that comes to mind is one of the best, probably the best two-player game I've ever played. The original Contra is the greatest. All I did as a kid was play that with my uncle, and good times.
God, the multiplayer, the co-op on that game was just perfect. It was so fun, and you had to work so hard to work together, but at the same time, some of the levels you could also goof around and have it was really hard to work together, like the waterfall level, which I think is level 3 maybe?
Playing with a second player was just utter chaos. You're always trying to stay together on the screen so you don't accidentally kill each other, but sometimes it was fun to be the douchebag and to kill your partner, because that was just the thing that kids did on the Nintendo. You always pick on your little brother or your friend or your little sister or your cousin, and you would just screw them over.
You play this two-player game, and it just adds this extra level of action and communication with you and your buddy, in my case, my brother, most of the time. But there really wasn't a lot of games like that. I mean, you had two-player games, but Contra, in my experience, is the first action two-player game that was really a must-have.
Everything's good. The best part, I love the music. That level was awesome. Dude, even that song still gets stuck in my head right now. I hear it in my head right now.
I love you, Contra.
I love Contra 1. That's probably the one that I mainly played. That one and Super C.
Super C on the NES was amazing. Almost basically like the original Contra, but just felt like with different map packs. Almost like a, you know, Call of Duty nowadays, but it doesn't charge you stupid money to get new add-ons.
Super C is freaking amazing. It's just as freaking legendary in my opinion. It's tough. I think that one is a lot harder than Contra.
It just felt like a whole new, felt like the same game, but with new levels and stuff, and game and designs and elements to the game. So it's just really cool.
Contra Force, I really don't like that game, but it's one of those NES games that has gone up in price for, you know, ridiculous amounts of money. It's getting up there, and it's kind of hard to find, but it's just not a Contra game. It's one of those games that they just slapped a familiar title on to get Americans to buy, and I guess it kind of worked, you know, later. You know, I don't think it was a popular game when it first came out. But yeah, it's a very horrible game.
Another good one that I love, I actually just recently got it from Aaron, is Operation C on the Game Boy. It's all it is exactly the NES one. It's more like Super C than the actual Contra. I know there's not really that big of a difference, but it's more like that. It's kind of fast. It's a little faster than the NES one. It's just good. That's all I can say. And then handheld, just you can take it anywhere. I love it.
My personal favorite would have to be Contra 3, Alien Wars on the Super Nintendo.
Contra 3 on Super Nintendo is, in my opinion, the best Contra game there is. It takes everything about the original Contra and magnifies it. Graphically, it's superior. You know, the visuals and the explosions, everything about it, it's bumped up to the next level.
The truth, I didn't find out about the Contra 3 Alien Wars till Aaron told me. Bummed out about that one, missed out on that. But yeah, I stink at that one.
It's one of those games I played so many times as a kid. I remember just the first time I played it, I've talked about it before, was when I was sick at my house and I went out and rented it and brought it home and was just in awe of this game.
Contra 3 is sort of the pinnacle in my mind of a two-player action game.
To me, it was better than the original Contra. I know a lot of people might disagree with that, but to me, it was just perfect. It was what the 8-bit version did, which was so perfect, but the 16-bit version perfected it. And speaking of bosses, which I said earlier, the bosses in that game are some of the most scary and intense boss battles I've ever had. Just those guys that go like this and rip it open, and the first boss, even the turtle with the beating heart that looks so weird.
One of the things I really appreciated about Contra 3 on Super Nintendo were the fast-paced action bike levels where you're streaming across the screen at, you know, Mach speed. Again, still trying to avoid everything, but the chaos just seemed to be amplified in those stages.
So some of the newer Contras I haven't tried yet. The Wii one, which a lot of people are talking about. You can only buy it on the Wii store, I believe. I hear it's great, but I still yet to try it out myself.
I do know that on the Wii, Contra Rebirth came out, and that game was freaking amazing, in my opinion. I had so much fun playing that one. I downloaded it on WiiWare, and I was able to beat it. It took me a lot of practice, but it was captivating. It held my attention very much, and I think it stayed true to the tradition of what Contra is.
Contra Hardcore.
Contra Hard. I like saying Corpse. I don't know why.
Let's just get one thing straight. It's not called Hard Corpse.
It's just sounds awesome.
It's hardcore, like the Marine Corps, like core. Why is there a P and an S? I don't know, but there is. That's just how it is.
Also, Contra Hardcore on the Sega Genesis, that game is probably my second favorite out of all of the Contra games.
Now, Nintendo was really the main go-getter for Contra games. Most people didn't really recognize Sega to be with Contra games, so I feel like the game didn't do as well and not that many people know about it, and it kind of went under the radar.
There's just something about it. The music is just has that gritty Genesis feeling. The graphics are amazing. The stages are fun. The challenge is there. It really feels like a Contra game.
But playing it, probably in the last couple years, Ricky and I played it together, and it was just, it's an amazing game, and hardcore means hardcore. The game is extremely, extremely difficult, but it's a hardcore run and gun just like the originals with
different characters, and they all have slight differences, and it's really fun because of it.
Which is kind of weird because the characters don't feel like what are the guys' names? Lance and something? I can't remember their names. Lance and whatever. I don't know. Looks like Pat the NES punk. Yeah, the game is just intense. It brought what Contra is known for, which is being hard, to a whole new level.
I think the most problematic part of Contra Hardcore is that it's hard to the core.
I don't think I've gotten past, what, Aaron? The third level, second level? That thing's just ridiculously hard and there's no Konami code for that.
Oh, the Konami code.
Thanks, Konami.
Up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start.
Thanks.
It's really hard, and very few people that I know can just pick up and play it and kick its butt. But when you do progress, it's just more rewarding for the difficulty.
Another good one that I hear is the DS one, the Contra 4 DS.
I started playing on the easy mode, and it was still actually pretty hard. And then I get like pretty far in the game, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't even remember what it says, but something that starts like almost like mocking you, saying like you can't go any farther unless you're like playing on like regular mode or something like that. It like makes fun of you, and I was like, oh man. So I played on regular mode. And honestly, I couldn't beat it.
Contra 4 on the DS.
Speaking of that game, I did forget to talk about that game. Yeah, the DS one is amazing. The dual screen in that game, the top and bottom screens work perfect. A lot of times, some of the games you play that are like that, the screens are like, you can't really tell what's going on, but they feel so connected. The music's amazing in that too. It's super powerful.
My favorite part actually is just the challenges, because there's always unlockable challenges that you can do. And so the more you play it, and the more you unlock, then you get more stuff on it, so you get more characters.
And it was just a great game. I can't believe I forgot
You can
that.
play the original Contra on it, right?
Yes, you can. Or I think you can. Andy did that. I never did that. So if Andy lied to us, he lied to you all.
Andy, don't lie. Whatever.
More levels, you can unlock the original Contra, Contra Super C. Some of the challenges I think are impossible. Someone I'm sure people do them, but they seem like they're impossible to me. Anyway, it's a great game. I still play it quite a bit.
I was born in the wrong generation.
It's alright, honey. It's alright. Not everyone can be born in the perfect decades, the 80s and 90s. I still love you.
They've tried to release Contra on the iOS, and it just doesn't translate the same. You know, you're playing an updated HD Contra on a touchscreen, and this game is meant to be played with a controller or an arcade joystick, not a freaking touchscreen.
It's alright, man. It's alright.
Ugh.
Contra harkens back to those times when you're sitting on the carpet in front of the television, that old wooden box framed television that's just sitting on the floor with your brother or your best friends playing a two-player game together, eating snacks and arguing over who gets to play next. Contra's just one of those games that I think anyone who grew up at that time and played it, they have those memories. It was unique. It is memorable. There really aren't a lot of games on the NES like it. And it was fantastic, and I think that's why so many of us retro gamers just adore it.
The Contra series, all in all, is a series not to be messed with. I feel like there's games like Metal Slug and other run and gun games that kind of are compared to it, but to me, out of the run and gun games, all in all, Contra is pretty much my favorite, and I feel like kind of did the best job at the games.
Contra is one of those franchises that every once in a while they'll make something for it, so you know, here's hoping that the next Contra that comes out is going to be a nostalgic blast from the past, because I'm definitely looking for it. Luckily, I do have these Contra memories that will always stay with me. It's one of my favorite franchises out there. It's probably the best Konami franchise in my opinion. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for that, but hey, Contra just totally kicks serious, legit ass.
Whether you're talking about the bullets... Is that mine? Dang it.
It's cool, man.
When I think of Contra, I pretty much think of non-stop action.
But before this happens, I can touch that little wiggly thing in the back of my throat.
Ew, you can make yourself puke. It's really bad for you to do that. Don't touch your uvula.
I didn't make myself puke.
But you could. Hey, he's touching his uvula.
Okay, you know what? It's recorded.